Hi, and welcome to Dirtbike's 2021 off-road video series. Today we've got the 2021 KTM 450XC-F. This is a bike that's often misunderstood. A lot of guys consider it an off-road bike. It is technically a closed course competition bike. Pretty much exactly the same thing as the KTM 450SX-F motocrosser, but with an 18-inch rear wheel, a kickstand, and a few other amenities for off-road riders. This is the bike that KTM wants its off-road racers to use. Although east of the Mississippi, you more typically see the KTM 350XC-F. The biggest difference is power. This thing just makes a ton of power. That makes it a big hit with guys like Taylor Robert out west, the Works Series, the Big Six Series, the National GP Championship Series. It's basically a motocrosser, but it's a little softer, slightly mellower, but you pretty much get the same vibe. It's a bike for racing. KTM came out with the W Series, which is more for the trail riders back east. That freed this bike to do what it does best, race. For 2021, the bike doesn't have that many changes. The two most worthy of note are the fork, which is a new configuration of the KTM XACT AER 48 air fork. Now it has a more conventional valving system where it actually incorporates a mid valve. This is a big departure for WP because in the past, people said they really couldn't get the fork to react on small ripple and chop. Well, that's mostly what an off-road bike is all about. So the improvement there is noticeable right off the bat. KTM is going to offer a smartphone app. For now, we're still waiting on the smartphone app for US applications. If you have a 2020 and a half factory edition KTM, you still have that capability built into the bike, just like this one. The biggest difference is you don't have the transmitter. You don't have it on either one of these bikes, whereas it comes stock on Yamahas. You'll have to pay a little extra for that. It mounts on top of the handlebar where your crossbar pad would be. We're gonna have to wait a little while to do testing on that. For now, you just have the two map options and traction control on this. Off-road guys in general still like map number 1 with traction control. It makes it a little easier to manage in technical situations, but still, that isn't exactly what this bike is made for. This is a racer, and so it's going to be a lot more comfortable on motocross tracks and Grand Prix tracks. You see an awful lot of guys who actually buy these for motocross because it's so much like the SX. With the air fork, you can pump up the fork a little bit to be exactly like the motocrosser's fork. There are slight valving differences, but in general, you can use the clickers to compensate for that. Another amenity for the off-road guys are the Dunlop AT81 tires. You'll find these get a lot more wear than the 33s on the motocross bike, and in general, they work extremely well in sand and hard pack across the board. In terms of outright power, there really isn't much difference between this and the SX motocross bike. You can pretty much take it straight to a motocross track and straight to a desert race, or even go hill climbing in the great outdoors. It's not lacking in horsepower at all. Where it is a little bit difficult to manage is right off the bottom. It's a little bit on and off down there. True off-road guys might prefer the XCFW for that. It's a lot smoother. The transitions from off to on are a lot more manageable. In this case, KTM really doesn't see this bike picking its way through boulder fields like you would in a true enduro. This is a Grand Prix motocross bike. At the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself what you're going to use this bike for. Are you a motocrosser? Are you a desert racer? Are you a hill climber? Perfect. The XC-F is for you. If you want to take this thing on skinny mountain trails and technical extreme off-road riding, this probably isn't the bike that you want. And again, KTM offers the XCFW for that as of last year. For now, this is one of our favorite bikes because basically out west, we can take it to the motocross track, we can take it out in the playlands and just have a blast. It's not a cheap motorcycle. MSRP on this bike is $10,799. That's $600 more than the SX model. You pay a lot of money for the kickstand, the 18-inch rear wheel, and those other amenities, but in the end, it is a more versatile motorcycle. We're going to do a lot more testing with this bike. You can check it out in the December print edition of Dirtbike magazine, and as always, you can go to dirtbikemagazine.com for all the latest off-road and motocross information.